Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Chase. So when you watch this video, it's going to be Thursday, March 26th, and today you're going to be taking the comprehension check as your assessment for lesson 21. So instead of doing the paper pencil version like we usually do, we're going to do the online version. So it's really similar to the quiz, it's just you're going to submit your answers electronically, okay? So I'm just going to do a little overview on some of the things that you're going to be seeing on the comprehension check, which is going to be what we've been going over all week that we've reviewed on this poster, okay? So I pulled some problems out that are going to be really similar to what you're going to see. So as I review this, your job is to listen as best you can. If you'd like to take some notes, you can, but maybe you just want to kind of pay attention to what I'm saying and listen through it, okay? And side note, I do want to remind you guys that if you're getting a little frustrated thinking that I'm going too fast, because I know sometimes kids say that, just remember I have to be able to save these videos and upload them onto Google, so I can't make them be too long. So if you ever need time for me to stop, you are always welcome to pause me and then play me when you're ready. You can also rewind me if you need to see something again, okay? So use your own judgment and strategies to pace the video that's as fast or as slow as that's good for you, okay? Okay, so for this first one we're going to go over, we're going to review multiplying fractions and plotting them on a number line, okay? So it says the number line shows 1/2 times 2/3. It gives us an example here. It says, which statement correctly describes how the product compares to one of its factors? So first of all, I'm thinking, okay, factors I know are the two values that are multiplied, right? The product is the answer. Let's just find the product so that we know what we're talking about here. I want to make sure that they say it's 1/3. Let's double check and make sure that's correct. So when I multiply, 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. So my product is 2/6. So I notice those are both even numbers, so I can simplify those. I know 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 6. So I'm going to do divided by 2/2, because when I'm simplifying, whatever I do to the top, I must do to the bottom, right? So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Oh, perfect. So we did get the same product as them, right? We're saying that these two factors multiply to 1/3. They showed on their number line. They shaded up to 1/3. Now it's saying which statement correctly describes how the product compares to one of its factors. Okay, so let's read through the options. Is it that 1/2 times 2/3 is less than 2/3? Well, I see that 2/3 is here, and I know I shaded only here, so I do think that's true. I think that might be correct, so I'm going to leave this one standing there. Let's look at the next one. 1/2 times 2/3 is greater than 1/2. I need to figure out where 1/2 is. So I know 1/2 is right in the middle of 0 and 1. So that middle point is right here. This is 1/2. So is 1/3 greater than 1/2? No. 1/2 times 2/3 is equal to 1/2. Is this shading showing that it's going to equal up to 1/2? No, that's not right either. 1/2 times 2/3 is greater than 2/3. 2/3 is here. The shading does not go beyond it, so that can't be the case either. So I know that A is what I'm going to submit on my comprehension check for this one, okay? That's how you're going to approach this number line problem. You're going to see another problem that's asking about those rules. I know I've said the rules so many times, but we remember sometimes we need to hear things lots of times to be able to put them in our brain and keep them in our memory, right? So this one's going to ask us about that rule about multiplying by fractions more or less than 1. So I'm reminding you here. Remember the rule, multiplying a number by a fraction less than 1 gives you a product less than the number you started with, okay? And I remember on my poster, when I multiply a whole number or fraction by a fraction greater than 1, the product is greater than the original whole number or fraction, right? So we're talking about the number that we're starting with. When you multiply it by a fraction greater than 1, you're going to get an answer or a product that is more than your original number, okay? So this would be more than this. When you're multiplying a number or a fraction by a fraction less than 1, like 2/5, your answer or product is going to be less than your original value, okay? So when I did 1/2 times 2/5, it equals 2/10. 2/10 is less than 1/2. So here, it's asking me, in the quiz question, use the numbers in the box below to write a multiplication expression for which the product is less than both its factors. Write your answers in the blank. Okay, so that means whatever these two numbers are, my answer or product needs to be less. That's telling me that I'm definitely going to want to multiply by a fraction that's less than 1. So let's do that first. I'm going to see if there's some fractions less than 1. Ooh, 7/4 actually I know is less than 1. So is 1/5. So there's a few options here. So I'm going to pick to start with 1/5 because I like multiplying by 1. I know that's kind of easy. So I have 1/5. I use that one. I need to multiply it by another value that's going to give me an answer that's really small. So if I want a small answer, I'm going to pick another fraction that's less than 1. So I know 3/4. Oops, this is 4/3. See, even sometimes I make a mistake when I look at it first. 4/3 is more than 1 because 4/3 is the same thing as 1 and 1/3. So no, I wouldn't want to do that. Oh yeah, and even this one that I thought at first, 7/4, I was kind of reversing it in my mind. This is more than 1 too, so I wouldn't want to do that. How about 4/9? If I have 4/9 of something, I know I don't have a whole, so I could maybe do that one. Or 7/8. If I have 7/8 of something, I don't have a whole, so that one's less than 1. I'm going to go with this one. We're going to multiply times 7/8. Now, of course, I wouldn't want to just enter my answer in and say, that must be right. I need to check it. So to check it, I'm going to find the product or the answer by multiplying. So 1 times 7 is 7 over 5 times 8 is 40. So I need to figure out, is 7/40 less than 1/5? And is it less than 7/8? This is tough because 7/40 is a kind of complicated fraction. So, think about it for a minute if you can think of a strategy to use. Okay, here's what I'm going to do to check. I'm not sure if 1/5 is less than 7/40 off the top of my head. So I want to make an equivalent fraction here to test that. I want to take 1/5 and I want to say, what can I multiply this to get it to be equal to something with a denominator of 40? So I can see how many 1/5 is in 40ths. So I'm going to use my multiplication chart because I'm allowed to do that and I just want to be sure. So if I'm coming down to 5, I'm going to see how many times is 5 going to 40? Ooh, that goes in 8 times. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 8 over 8 because 5 times 8 is 40, 1 times 8 is 8. Oh, shoot. So this answer doesn't work because 1/5 is greater than the answer. So I'm going to need to try this again. See, it's just going to be trial and error until I'm going to get the right answer. So let's try multiplying by, I cross this out so I know I'm not doing that. Let's try using my 4/9, which is another one that's less than 1 whole. I'm going to multiply 4/9 times 1/5. Let's see what we get then. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 times 9 is 45. Okay. Now I need to know, are these both less than this? Well, let's do something similar here. I'm pretty sure 4 over 45 is less than 4/9, but I could check it, double check just in case. Let's do that one first. So 4 over 9 times what equals something with a denominator of 45? I know 9 times 5 is 45, so that's 5 over 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so 4/9 is equivalent to 20/45. So yes, this is less than this. We know that one works. Let's try this one. 1/5 times something equals something with a denominator of 45. So that's my other fact family in there, right? So 5 times 9 is 45. Put the 9 on top as well. 1 times 9 is 9. Oh, so 1/5 is equal to 9/45. So that means that this is less than this as well. So these two fractions give me a product that is less than both of them. Okay? Take some time to work it through, guys. You saw how long it took us to try and do it together. Okay? Next problem. I'm just going to talk about this one because we've kind of done something like this a lot now. So the problem reads that Leo says the product n times 4/5 is greater than 4/5 because multiplication always increases the number. Which of the following values for n shows that Leo is incorrect? Choose all the correct answers. So now I know multiplication does not always make the answer bigger, right? If I multiply by a fraction that's less than 1, my answer is going to be less than my original number. So if this n is anything less than 1, my answer is going to be less than 4/5, right? So when I'm looking for values that show that Leo is incorrect, I would be looking for fractions that are less than 1. So I want you to try and look at that on your own, on the comprehension quiz, okay? Next. We remember stretching and shrinking, right? Most of the time this is going to be doubling or dividing in half. So here it says this bar has a length of 12 units. This bar has a length of 4 units. Use words and an equation to describe how the bar with a length of 12 units is scaled. So this one's just a little different than the doubling, right? Because I'm thinking right now, I know that 4 times 2 is 8. So this, we did not start with this and double it to get this because this has 12. I'm going to use a strategy here and see how many times 4 goes into 12. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 here. That's 1 time. These ones I'm going to do with a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's twice. The rest I'm just going to leave blank. I see that 4 goes into 12 3 times. I know they shrunk this bar, right? Because it started big and it's getting smaller. So it's going to be 12 times, we shrunk it by thirds, so 1 over 3, okay? I know that's correct because when I multiply, 12 times 1 is 12, This would be over 1, so 3 times 1 is 3. 3 goes into 12 4 times, which is what my bar shows here, okay? So when I use words to describe it, I'm going to say something about my bar started with 12 units. It shrunk 1/3 the amount. So when you multiply 12 times 1/3, you end up with 4, okay? And the last thing I'm going to show you is just some stuff we did on simplifying. So we're going to solve these, and then we're going to compare greater than, less than, or equal to one of the factors, which we're going to be looking at 5/8, okay? I put this one because I want you to remember, when you see a fraction with the same numerator and denominator, you know it's equal to 1. So this one's easy. 3 over 3 is 1 times 5 over 8. Okay, well, I know that 1 times anything is itself, so 1 times 5 over 8 equals 5 over 8. Now this is saying, is this greater than, less than, or equal to 5 over 8? Well, 5 over 8 is the same thing as 5 over 8, so it is equal to. Okay? For the next one, I'm going to multiply across. 2 times 5 is 10. 6 times 8 is 48. Okay. This fraction seems a little bit big, kind of some crazy numbers. But I do notice they are both even. So I'm going to see if I can divide these both by 2 to simplify. So divided by 2 over 2 equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. 48 divided by 2 is 24. Okay, I have 5/24. I need to determine if that's greater than, less than, or equal to 5/8. But I can't compare 5/24 with 5/8 because they have unlike denominators. So I'm going to have to make this 5/8 have the same denominator as this one, because I can't make this one any smaller. Nothing can go into both 5 and 24, right? So I'm going to need to multiply 8 to get it to have the same denominator as 24. So I'm just going to do some side work here on my scrap paper, probably. So I have 5/8. I'm wondering, what do I multiply that by to get something with a denominator of 24? I'm not really super familiar with my 8 table, so I'm going to use my multiplication chart. 8 goes into 24 3 times. Okay, so times 3 over 3, because 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so my product for my expression here was 5/24. I'm comparing it to 5/8, which is equivalent to 15/24. So that means my answer is less than. Okay? Remember, when you're doing a problem like this on your comprehension check, you're going to need to do some work with getting a common denominator, because you can't compare fractions that don't have a common denominator. And you know how to find a common denominator, so please do the extra work. Don't just guess, okay? If you have questions on the comprehension check, feel free to contact me, and best of luck. I know you guys got this. Talk to you soon.